Hey everybody, welcome to our early comics review video. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can get this week. They come out on Wednesday, but you can go ahead on over to infinityflux.net right now while supplies last and order your copies. That way, when they do release on Wednesday, you don't have to worry about them selling out. You will already have your name on them. And that is awesome because there are some big ones this week we want to make sure you don't miss out on.
Yeah.
So whether you shop at Infinity Flux, our website, or at your local comic book store, we're here to give you a little bit better idea of what to expect when you walk into the comic book store and you see all those new books on the wall, and it can be overwhelming. We're here to underwhelm you.
We're here to underwhelm you with our commentary.
Yes.
Wow.
We're here to take the over out of your whelming. So let's get into it because there are some pretty big ones this week.
Yeah.
And we are starting with...
Yeah, we're going to start with a whopper. This is Absolute Batman number 10. And holy cow.
Yeah, these last two issues have been, I think, the strongest.
Probably the best, of the series so far. And I don't know that I've ever even read a Batman comic like this before. This is brutal. There are body horror elements, and I have a note that this completely destroys the notion of prep time.
Oh yeah, Batman can do anything. He's got prep time.
Yeah, as long as he prepares.
He can do anything. Really. If Batman's present, he'll be okay.
Yeah. So this issue is all about Batman, or I guess Bruce Wayne, really, being held captive at the Arkham facility. And he's being experimented on. We'll just go ahead and tell you that. I don't want to tell you what it's like for him there because you really have to read this for yourself to fully understand and appreciate this. But I will say that he's there not for a short amount of time. He's there for a little while at least. And there's not a whole lot of spoken dialogue in this, but there is a lot of narration from the person who is conducting the experiments, and we see who that person is at the end of the issue. But you're seeing things being done to him, but you're also reading about those things, and the narration is just as creepy as what you're actually seeing with your eyeballs. That's kind of oversimplifying a little bit. Like I said, you really have to read this. This is like a one of a kind.
And he does put up a fight.
Yeah,
but you'll have to see how that goes. I will say a word I would describe some of this is nauseating.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like creepy. Like it makes you feel kind of icky and like, oh, I need to go take a shower and like.
Yeah. There's something about this facility that does. It's just very cold. It's like that cold clinical, but just disturbing.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know. They go into detail about what they're doing to him, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, this feels like an issue of Krypto or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. There is a really cool double-page spread near the end that I think a lot of people will be talking about. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a Batman book. I was not expecting it at all. And I really don't want to say anything more than that because I do not want to spoil this. I want you guys to read this for yourself and be horrified like I was when I read it. But it is so good. Believe me when I say that.
I do feel like you start getting some answers about what Arkham may be doing.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And I will say I like the designs in this one. There's some cool designs for different characters that I really like. But yeah, this one shocked me.
Yeah.
Even though the last issue number 9, I thought was amazing and definitely like the just when he goes underground and discovers this facility. But this one is surprising in much different ways, and the lengths that Batman will go is pushed in this, I think, maybe to an extent we've never seen.
Right, I agree with that for sure. So yeah, go read it for yourself. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but it's so good. It's really, really good. I do feel like this and the last issue are the best two in the series so far, and this is only the second part of this Abomination story arc. So
I
can't
don't
even
know where
imagine
this is going.
What else can they do? I don't know, but I'm sure they'll do it. So
It's a great character study
yeah,
of Batman too. Of like, hey, like take things away from him. What do you have left? I feel like Scott Snyder's so good at that. He did that in Court of the Owls, like when Batman was in the maze.
Yep.
It gives me kind of vibes of that, of like, you know, at what point does Batman start and you realize it goes to Bruce's core
Yeah.
that he's Batman.
Yeah. All right, so there is your A cover right there, and there's some cool variants. This is is that Delato? Yeah, that's the Delato variant. And we have this Gillum March.
Yeah, that
variant.
was really cool. If you notice where he's throwing his
his ear,
ear.
one of his ears is right there. That's really cool. We have this really cool 1 in 25 Derek Robertson cover. We're selling that one for $12.99. And we have this 1 in 50 Sean Crystal variant that we're selling for $19.99. Yeah,
This is right across from us in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. This is when I wish we had a spoiler show.
Yeah.
Because there's things in this I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
But it would, I don't know. It would.
I don't want to.
This is worth the page turn reveals.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, speaking of over the top and nauseating books, we've got Invincible Universe Battle Beast number 3. I've been so excited about this because Matt and I read Battle Beast 1 and 2
months ago.
Months before issue 1 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had to wait a very long time for a new Battle Beast. And so when this came out, this was the first thing I read. I was so excited. And it picks up right where the issue 2 leaves off, where the ship that, of course, is trying to kill Battle Beast, which he's okay with. Like, that's kind of what he wants. But it's setting him up. It's kind of surprising him. And it called for security, I guess, on this planet.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was like the authorities or something. I'm not really sure.
And they have created this like grid in front of their ship. But I mean, really, what are you gonna do to Battle Beast? This is you know, this is a Christmas present for him, and these ships are just presents he can't wait to unwrap as he heads out into the vacuum of space to take on these ships. Not in his own ship, but just Battle Beast against, you know, essentially like X-Wings type thing. And that is a lot of this issue, which is really cool. You just see like how non-stop he is.
Yeah, and the artwork is gorgeous. Lots of action, lots of blood, and just, I mean, it's gorgeous to look at. Yeah.
Yeah. We also get some really interesting moments between the ship and is it Salaka.
Yeah.
Between the ship and Salaka about, you know, what's going on. But we do know, and we know this from Solicitation of future issues, that they are going to make it to Salaka's home planet. And we do see a little bit of that, but this is an Invincible book. This is a Battle Beast book. Nothing's going to go to plan. Things are always going to, you know, get hairy for Battle Beast.
Salaka hasn't been to his home planet in a millennia.
Yeah.
And things can change in 1,000 years.
I love the whole thing. It's like, oh, I wonder if they have this. I wonder if they still have this. Well, you'll see what happens. And again, very excited for the next one because this just feels like a book that doesn't take its foot off the gas.
Yeah.
You know, the momentum in this is just a page turner. There is really interesting dialogue. There's some hints to Battle Beast's backstory where, you know, they bring stuff up and he's like, you can tell there's stuff going on that he's not saying about his past. But for right now, he is full steam ahead. He got those new weapons on that that planet they were
the Maul space station.
And he's ready to use them. So if you enjoyed 1, if you enjoyed 2, there no contest. You're gonna love issue number 3.
Yeah. I also like the way this ended. This is not, I'm not spoiling anything, but it doesn't end with, you know, the end or to be continued. It's just the panel, like the last panel it ends on, and it just kind of ends, you know. And it's really setting up for next issue. Like it's really cool.
And I have a feeling the next issue is gonna be violent.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's very cool, and just Ryan Otley is getting to draw just everything,
Yeah.
weird aliens
Yeah.
and over the top action, and a Battle Beast also uses those gates
Mhm.
that he travels through, but in an action way
Right.
that is very very
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, Battle Beast number 3. It's just awesome. He does use that like double
Mhm.
pronged axe thing in this. So this scene kind of happens. It's pretty close to that. But yeah, there is your A cover. We have this awesome David Nakayama kind
Ding ding
of
ding! That's
like
the one I pre-ordered.
the negative space
Yeah.
variant. And then we've got some incentive. So we've got a 1 in 10 EJ Sue variant that's only $5.99. That's like a barely over cover price. So that one is really cool. We have a 1 in 25. This is the Sonjik variant. We're selling for $19.99. We have this 1 in 50 Liam Sharp variant,
That's
which
really
is really
cool.
fun. We're
Yeah.
selling for $39.99. And the biggie, we've got the 1 in, I guess, 1 in 100. This is the Simon Bisley cover. We're selling for $99.99. But yeah, that is now like in my top favorite comics
Oh, I
easily.
love it. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I hope you have a glass of milk nearby because we're going to talk about ghost peppers. No, ghost pepper. They make your
Yeah,
vampire.
yeah, no, I got it. I got it.
So-
I've watched Hot Ones. I know what's going on.
Ghost Pepper number 1. This is a new book from Image, from Skybound. So we got 2 Skybound books in a row. And we've said it before, we'll say it again, that anytime you see Skybound, the Skybound logo on the cover, you feel like you're just getting a little bit more quality of a book. Like
Yeah.
something that's had a lot of heart and soul put into it and it's like just really done with a lot of care. And this is as well. So this is written and drawn by a French artist named Ludo Lullaby. You may have seen his work recently on Transformers number 19, that sort of one and done story with Megatron. He worked on some stuff with World of Warcraft.
Yep.
He's done Battle Chasers. He's done some video game stuff.
There's a really nice page at the end
Yeah.
where he talks, and you get the idea how long he's been working on this. But he lists all the stuff, and it's like, yeah, not only did he work on like the Warcraft, like comics and that kind of stuff, he was like a designer, and
It was
he's
a game,
worked
yeah.
on like Hearthstone and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I really like that because I felt like I got a little entrance into his thought process behind this.
Yeah, like he's definitely a creator that I will be following to whatever book that he works
Mhm.
on after this. I wasn't really familiar with his work before this. But so first thing about this issue is it's $4.99, but it's 56 pages with no
Yeah.
ads, so you get a lot of really excellent bang for your buck. And I've got a note here that to understand the story of this book, it helps to understand the look of the book. And if you're familiar with the Trigun manga or the anime, this has a very similar aesthetic. The world that this is set in, I don't know if it's Earth. I don't think it's Earth. It's just a world. It's dry, it's dusty, it's post-apocalyptic, but there's still technological advances. Um, so it's that it looks kind of like that. And early on in the book, we're introduced to a woman right here. Her name is Loloy, and she is a cook who travels around in her food truck, serving anybody that she can find food. And again, it's sort of a post-apocalyptic thing. So it's not like she drives to a city and there's people lined up. It's like whoever can afford this food, she
And her
feeds
food
them.
truck is like a big, almost like tank type
Right.
machine.
Well, early on in the book, she's serving some customers one day when this area is surrounded by these robot soldiers who say that they have detected somebody there who should not be there. And that's when we meet this character right here. His name is Ash. He's very mysterious, but he's kind of these two are the protagonists of the story. And he's this very mysterious character. We don't really learn a lot about him yet, but you can tell he has a very mysterious past, kind of like Logan in that sense a
Yeah.
little bit. He's got super strength, like we see him, do some crazy strong things. But he makes short work of the robots around them, and then he leaves with Loloy because it's like, oh, we got to get out of here. He leaves with Loloy, but word of his presence gets back to the main antagonist of the book, who I don't know if we know their name or not yet. I don't really know
We
who
kind of
they
know
are.
their job,
Yeah,
but we don't know their name.
yeah, and that they are not. Whoever that character is, they are not thrilled knowing that Ash is back because they seem to know who Ash is. We don't know yet. And then there's a couple points in the book where they talk about this legend, this myth.
This part I really was intrigued by because
Yeah.
I was not expecting this.
Yeah, it's of this giant called the Great Cinder, who supposedly centuries ago wandered the planet, destroying everything. And I mean like a giant, like a person.
He looks like an Attack on Titan type.
Kind of, yeah. Who supposedly wandered the Earth, destroying everything, and until it was defeated by this person and their army. This person's name is Batar, and they supposedly had an army who defeated the giant. And I think we're going to learn a lot more about that because it seems like Ash is linked to that somehow. We don't know how, so a lot of questions after reading this.
He has a little bit of like an Aragorn, like you see him here now, but you think like, oh, he could be like the king, or he could be he's something bigger than this wanderer that he portrays.
Yeah, for sure. So it does seem like Ash has this connection to this legend that everybody around the planet knows, and they pray to this character named Batar, who supposedly was the one who defeated this big giant who was destroying the Earth. So, and there's more to it than that. It's there's some sci-fi stuff to it. There's some cool action in this, but that's kind of the gist of this first issue anyway. Is like I said, a lot of questions. We don't really know, what is Ash's deal? Who is this bad guy that's not happy that he's back? What is the deal with the Great Cinder? Like, a lot of questions we don't know the answer to.
Another little character that hangs out with Ash.
Oh yeah, he does. He also has this little almost robotic looking pal that sits on his shoulder that sort of talks.
And they can do more than you expect.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, it's a really, really cool book. This looks a very manga or anime influence. It has that look. Ludo Lullaby's artwork looks a lot like that. It kind of reminded me of Joe Madureira, which we have a variant cover of. You'll see that in a second. So it has that style of artwork to it, I don't care what the story is. If that's the artwork, I'm getting that for sure.
Also, I feel like the designs in this are really strong because when we say like the robot show up or whatever, it feels very non-traditional.
They're like more pointy heads and
like the Geth from Mass Effect, or these aren't very they're not super humanoid. They're sleek and weird, and it feels way more anime of like Neon Genesis or something, like the way that's like a very these aren't just like robots. These are like very different, and some of the enemies kind of give me like a Dune vibe of what they look like and how they speak, and so it feels very fresh in a semi-familiar setting, this post-apocalyptic thing, but with elements that you haven't seen before.
Yeah, so like this could, if this were black and white and read backwards like a manga, like it would feel perfect. Like this feels like it could be a manga or a Western comic either way. I love the artwork, the action, the mystery, like everything about this is just top notch. I think it's a 5-issue series. I don't know if it's ongoing or not, so don't hold me to that. We know of it. We're getting at least 3 issues. That's as far as the solicitations have gone out so far. I don't know how many total though. But if you're looking for something new, something action-packed, a little bit sci-fi, a little bit anime, like this is it right here. Like this is highly, highly recommended. So this is our A cover right here, and we've got some really cool variants. So this is an Art Germ variant, and that's Loloi, your traveling cook, who is, now reluctantly found herself traveling around with Ash. We have a blank sketch variant. We have this 1 in 10 Kale New variant featuring Loloi. This doesn't happen in the issue, but maybe later. We're selling this one for $14.99. And then here's the Joe Mad cover. This is the 1 in 25, and we're selling this one for $34.99. And if the inside of the book has a very similar feel to this. So if you like that image, the whole book is like this, so it's really, really cool.
Yeah. The look is like Darksiders and that
kind of
like big guys, which I know Joe Mad worked on.
Yeah.
So even though Joe Mad doesn't do a whole lot of interior work anymore, I feel like this is. I mean, they worked on Battle Chasers, So it's very much in the the next generation of his style.
Yeah, loved it though.
Well, next up, we've got what I've been really excited about, Imperial #2, because I really like #1 and really like the questions they were setting up as all these leaders of these, space factions in the Marvel Universe were getting killed mysteriously. And we got some answers in the first one, but we, of course, they brought in Hulk and Amadeus Cho and She-Hulk to kind of represent Sakaar and figure out what's going on. You had Peter Quill and his father there. You had Nova there. You had the Shi'ar. You had
Star Lord and
Star Lord. Yeah. I love Gladiator in this. I think this is a really cool book for Gladiator.
Yeah.
But something big happened in the last one, and it looked like a Wakandan agent from Wakanda Prime, kind of their. I don't know what the relationship between Wakanda on Earth and Wakanda in space is, other than they're a space colony of Wakanda.
Yeah, it's the intergalactic. What is it? Intergalactic something of Wakanda.
Yeah, they call it Wakanda Prime or
Yeah.
something like that. But it appeared that they were behind this assassination, and a pretty major death happened. I mean, a lot of them, but another pretty major one happened in the first issue where that was revealed. Well, in this one, now everyone basically says, "Oh, it's Wakanda," and all of their cannons point towards Wakanda. So all of these Kree and Shi'ar and all of them are now, fully against the Wakandans. And to our heroes too, that's what it looks like. Even Peter Quill, like I was glad they did this where they do capture a very familiar Wakandan character in this, and basically like look at the evidence, and there's more evidence than just they did this attack. It's like we can trace all of this back to Wakanda, and they're like silly, like it wasn't really them. Well, I can't tell you a whole lot about this issue because something pretty major happens close to the middle of the book that swings everything in a way where you realize um, maybe what the bigger story going forward and how this could have bigger ramifications for the Marvel universe. So there's a ton of action, a ton of like space battles, which is
there's
really
a
cool.
lot of big, just epic space battles in this. Big giant ships shooting lasers at each other. Lots of that kind of stuff.
This has great moments between like Star Lord and Nova. With I love Gladiator, like I said, is in here, and I love his part he plays.
There's a really cool. It's not that long. It's pretty brief, but there's a really cool fight between Black Panther and Hulk and Brawn.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because you think Black Panther against Hulk, what's he gonna do? But it's really cool.
Yeah, and it does a good job of being like you would think they're allies, but it's like but the evidence that they all have against Wakanda doesn't look great. But yeah, where this is going, and it's right at the end where you kind of start putting the pieces together of why and all of that. Sets up some really cool ideas.
Yeah.
And I really like that the twist that happens in here is not the end of the series.
Right.
I feel like we're gonna see the ramifications of this within this series, and then maybe after the series, the bigger picture.
Yeah, and we still the one thing we don't know still is like who we see these like two shadowy characters in the first issue. We still don't know who those characters are, like who's really pulling the strings. That's a mystery, but we do see some other things that are very surprising.
Yeah, there was the people in the beginning and end, I think, of the first issue that they're like playing chess.
Right.
And they're talking, of course, they're all laid back and everything, but they're speaking of like how they're going to control everything. And they do reappear in here, but still in shadow. And I don't, I have like my simplistic guesses of who they are, but I feel like it's going to be pretty surprising when we find out who is really behind this, and maybe
and why
yeah. So very cool. Imperial issue number 2. So far, this has been a really good event.
Yeah, I really like it.
And
I like it a lot.
The art is phenomenal. So
we're getting some cool tie-ins later.
Yeah, I'm really excited about those now that I know what happens in this.
Yeah,
I want to see how those play out. So there is your A cover. We also have a Horrell variant. This is the one I got because the Hulks are big and green on that one. We've got a Scotty Young cover. We've got a Forbes cover with Olandra. And then we've got some incentives. This is the Roge Antonio 1 in 25 song for $12.99 with Star Lord and Nova. And that is it.
All right. Well, I've got a new one from EC. I guess Oni publishes this technically, but this is EC's Catacomb of Torment. This is the first issue in an ongoing series. So this kind of sort of is spinning out of Epitaph from the Abyss. It's the same type of book. It's a horror anthology book, but whereas Epitaph from the Abyss was a 12-issue limited series, this is an ongoing. So every single month you're going to get 3 or 4 different quick little one and done horror stories. You're going to be able to read these issues in any order, not have to know anything about anything. Just a nice little horror anthology. So there are 3 new original stories in this one. The first one, the first one's "What's the Deal with Voodoo?" and it's very this comedian is performing at a college, and he's very not politically correct. We'll say that, but there's a couple of students in the audience who are overly politically correct, right? And they have an issue with everything. That's racist, and that's this, and that's that. How dare you? So they're very much like that. So they're so angry with him though at the end of his show that they follow him, and something bad ends up happening. But then something worse ends up happening even later, and it's all very creepy. There's a story where 4 young Americans are on vacation at a sandals resort type place. I don't know if it's in Mexico or something, but it's not in the U.S. And they're very disrespectful of the land there, and the land is not happy about it. And I'll just say that one, some of the imagery in that story is very talking about body horror stuff. There's some weird stuff in that. There's a story called Garden Variety, where it's about this chef, and he really likes to host dinner parties, and mushrooms are his specialty. He grows his own mushrooms, and he has all these different kinds of mushrooms. And the soil that he grows them in is very special. And there's some pretty creepy stuff in that one too. Some more body horror stuff in that one. And then the last one, and I don't know if this will be in every single issue, but in this one at least, there is a story called Halloween, which was originally published in Shock Suspense Stories #2 from way back in the 50s. It's about this woman named Anne. It's been remastered and recolored. It's about this woman named Anne. She becomes a new matron for a group of orphans at an orphanage, and the orphans there are treated horribly by the master of the orphanage, the guy who runs the place. And she does everything that she can to take care of the children, despite how terrible he is to them. But the children have a plan to take care of themselves, and we'll just say that. So just 4, 3 brand new, short one and done stories, and then a classic from the EC Vault. So if you're a horror anthology fan, definitely check this out. And it's ongoing, so you'll be able to get this every month. So we got our A cover right there. We have this. This is the Fowler variant. There's the kids at the orphanage, I believe. Oh no, that's the guy. That's the guy that grows the mushrooms. Yep. We have a foil version of the A cover right there.
The gold foil.
Gold foil, that's right. We have a blank sketch variant, so you can draw your own creepy stuff. And then we have this 1 in 10. I'm not sure who the artist is on this one. We're selling this one for $14.99.
Fun homage of that classic cover. I think we have that one out there.
I love horror anthology books.
Yeah. Well, next up, I've got another big one. This is Post Malone's Big Rig #1. So you may have checked this out back on Free Comic Book Day in May, where we basically got what is the first half of this issue. This is a double-size issue. So it really feels like 2 issues in one. It even has kind of a chapter break. Mm-hmm. So you may have read the first half of this, but it is double-sized, so it's not like you're rebuying the same book. This is by Post Malone, and Adrian Wassel do the writing, and the art is by Nathan Gooden. And this is kind of a black, white, and red looking title. So if you didn't read the Free Comic Book Day book, basically this is set in medieval times. I guess it's our world. I don't think it's just a generic fantasy world. It seems very just like a dark fantasy medieval, where there are demons and kind of monsters that we don't know when or where or whatever, but they've basically just come up from hell and are attacking everything. And they are scary and mean and sarcastic and everything. Very almost like Evil Dead, like the way that they're.
Yeah, this does give me vibes of Army of Darkness.
Yes. Yeah. So they're attacking this village, and of course, people are praying for help, and they can't trust like the priests there and stuff who are just out for themselves and all of that. But these people are hoping for something to help them, and what happens? Out of the sky comes a big rig truck that just lands, and a very mysterious character who I think we're going to learn more about as we go on, who has some face tattoos and stuff, goes up to it, and in the cab of the truck is a trucker hat. He puts it on and becomes a trucker deliverer of vengeance. And from there, he basically just runs over demons and devils. Uh, it's very fun. It was the free comic book day book, so I have read this part before, but
But there's more, right?
yeah, there is more, and that is kind of where the first issue ends. Is where he runs into another character who is a witch, who kind of starts explaining some of the things that are going on, and apparently there's some like dukes and princes of hell, and the truck driver killed one of them, and basically his job now is to destroy all of these. There is a more sinister character that seems to be behind a lot of it. You'll see them on one of the variant covers. But yeah, it's really really fun. There's you get the main bit of the picture of the tone and everything from that free comic book day, but they do really start getting into the story in the second one. Maybe this guy who is the trucker has a backstory that it does seem like he's kind of a maybe he was a priest and something happened and he was excommunicated or something. But yeah, it's really really fun. A lot of action, over the top violence as he is just running over all these things. But the supporting characters in this are really interesting too and get some really good moments. Um, we do learn what is in the back of the truck, which I was from the free comic book day book. I was like, yeah, but what happens if they open it up? And that is a you see what's back there, and it kind of seems straightforward, even though it is weird. Um, but I want to know really who sent this and how. Like, is this really a heavenly truck that was sent? I don't know, but I think this is going to be really, really fun series, and you get this double-sized first issue. So, really, you need to check out Post Malone's Big Rig. It's beautiful. Like the art in this is fantastic, and this feels so much like the setup for a manga of like. Here's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Here's a fantasy world.
Like
but
an
then
isekai. Yeah. Yeah.
that like I woke up and I was a vending machine in a fantasy
Yeah.
world. It's like a fantasy world, and I'm a big rig driver. So if you like that
I'd
kind
watch
of
that
stuff,
anime, by the way.
yeah, check out Post Malone's Big Rig. This is your A cover, and that's what the interior art looks like. That's Nathan Gooden's art, so it's fantastic. We have our Peach Momoko variant, which that is your big bad that I don't think we know their name yet, but they uh, seem like they are the highest up demon or devil that's kind of orchestrating some stuff. And then this one's really cool. So this, I imagine this is going to sell pretty fast. This is the 1 in 10 Daniel Warren Johnson cover. We're selling for $11.99.
That just looks like Transformers.
That just looks like Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it looks like Optimus Prime.
But yeah, very cool Daniel Warren Johnson cover. And if you like that one, maybe you also like this 1 in 25 Daniel Warren Johnson cover that is the black and white. We're selling for $19.99.
All right, we have another new one from Image. This is called "This Ends Tonight." This is the first of a 3-issue miniseries. This one's been delayed for quite a while. I think it was originally solicited back in 2023, but it's here now. It's written by Jerry Duggan, Kelvin Mao, and Robert Wyndham. The art is by Jay Lee. The interior art is by Jay Lee. And each issue of this 3-issue series is going to feature a different story with different characters, but they're all interconnected. They all take place in Las Vegas. And we see a little bit of that here where we briefly see a character go by and there's a caption that says, I bet you'll learn more about that character in a later issue. So 3 separate interconnected stories across the series. But this book in particular is about 2 girls named Anna and Katie. They're sisters. They are celebrating Katie's 21st birthday in Las Vegas. And they're having a great time, but before they know it, assassins start to chase them, start to attack them, and Katie learns a shocking secret about her family that goes back thousands, if not millions of years. Um, and it's not they're. Let's just say that they're not ordinary girls,
Mhm.
but Katie doesn't know that, and we learn a lot of backstory about the family, and it gets pretty it gets maybe a little bit fantasy based, I guess. I will say that I was having a good time with this. It is a little bit confusing near the end. I didn't quite understand it, but maybe it'll all get explained with those other two issues, and maybe that'll form a bigger picture or something like
There's
that.
a lot of elements in this first issue
Yeah,
of it's a pretty hectic ride as you're learning about all this story. They're basically running. So
right,
it's like
yeah.
there's action and then some exposition, and there's not like any calm moments in this.
Yeah, there's lots of action in this. I will
Yeah.
say that lots of and there's fights and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like you'll see, but it's really cool. It's an interesting concept, and I'm very interested to see like the next issue. I want to see the other angle. Like there's a truck that goes by, and I want to see in the second issue that truck and who the characters in that truck,
Yeah.
and then see the characters in this like just go by real quick. So
And Jay Lee's art in this is really cool.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with it, it is it's like this on the cover, but on the interior, it's almost dreamlike. The characters are skinny, and the way they move is really interesting. But the action he draws in this is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great. So we have our A cover right here, and we got some cool variants for this, and something to say about those too. So we have this blank variant right here, and then we have this 1 in 10. I didn't get the artist name on any of these.
That's
Oh, that's
Jay
Jay Lee
Lee.
right there. Yeah. This is the 1 in 10 that we're selling for $8.99. This is the 1 in 25 Adam Hughes that we're 1 in 25 Adam Hughes we're selling for $24.99. And then this is the 1 in 50 Virgin Adam Hughes cover that we're selling for $49.99. And if you like all of those, we have a special deal on our website where you actually can get all of them in a bundle for $65. So that's a $95 value right there. And you can get all the covers, the A cover, the sketch cover, all these incentives. You can get them all for just $65 if you think they're all cool. And that includes both Adam Hughes covers as well. So,
Yeah.
So very cool thing.
Like, why not? If just the Adam Hughes cover is $50,
Yeah.
for just barely a little bit more, you get all of them.
You get all of them, yeah. So very cool deal on our website. While supplies last.
While supplies
They're
last.
gonna go quick.
Yeah.
Let me. Okay, get off of this. There we go.
Okay, well, next up, I've got our next addition to the Bring on the Bad Guys story. This is Bring on the Bad Guys Abomination. I was excited about this one because I really liked his cameo in the first Doctor Doom issue. I don't know, I just love Abomination. This issue is by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and the art is by Sergio Davila. The art in this is really, really great. He draws a really giant, like, buff Abomination.
Yeah, the artwork in this I really liked a lot, and I really liked his rendition of Abomination.
Yeah. He's he's a big square man.
Yeah.
He's as tall as he is wide. So where we pick up in this is this actually mostly takes place in Wakanda, which I was not expecting for a Abomination issue.
Yeah.
But in Wakanda, there has been a dig site that a lot of archaeologists and people from Wakanda are working on, and it's going well until there's something weird that they find. There's a well that is near where they're digging, but it's not exactly where they were digging, and it seems to be even older than whatever they were working on. And we cut back and learned that people have been, the archaeologists, and then they sent people to check on the archaeologists, and then more people went. Everyone who's visited the spot has vanished. Well, someone comes to Abomination, who is currently in a Wakandan prison, and says, hey, we need you for this job. And Abomination they basically say, we'll give you can go free if you help us. Abomination's like, I'm not dumb. I know as soon as I help you with this, you're going to put me back in prison or something. And they say, no, like, really, this will happen. And he's like, okay, you would only be asking me if you think there's something big I need to fight there. Because you've got all your scientists and everything. What is it? They basically say they don't know, but they do they are going to drop him in to this archaeology zone to figure out what it is. I don't want to tell you what happens there. It's really cool. They basically push him out of a plane, and he
Yeah.
doesn't just hit the ground. He tunnels down into it, and discover something there. And you'll have to find out how that is tied with the overall story of the souls and the Soul Forge and all of that. But it's pretty cool. There is a lot of action towards the latter half of this that's really fun. Plus, we do get the backup story in this one as well that explains more of Sister Sorrow's backstory.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting too, and her deal with Mephisto and what happens with, like, what does she have to sacrifice for this deal? All of that is really cool in here as well. So if you've been enjoying the Bring on the Bad Guys stories, don't miss Abomination. Loki, I believe, is the next one.
I think so, yeah.
And we've still got
Dormammu,
Red Skull,
yeah.
and a Mephisto one that wraps it all up. So this has been really cool. This is also, I think, going to make a really cool trade that has all of them in it. But if you're reading it issue by issue, don't miss this one. That is your A cover by Libra Mayho, which is really cool. You see Hulk's big hand there. Hulk is not in this one,
unfortunately.
But I also do like that, you know, these characters are not defined by the people they fight. They're their own characters. So we've got the Todd Knock variant. We've got the Mercado variant. There's one of that looks like this for all of them. We've got this really creepy Sharf variant.
Yeah, I like that.
We have the Yang Sister Sorrow cover. And lastly, unfortunately, this one got a little hurt. This is the, I'm not sure, I think maybe a 1 in 25, something like that. We're selling for $24.99. This is the Sandoval cover, but we had to put a Band-Aid on it because it's hurt. But yeah, it's a little bit damaged, but still available.
All right, next up, we've got Marvel Knights, The World to Come, #2. And there was a lot of discussion about the first issue after it came out, and everybody got a chance to read it. But I'll say I after reading this, I'm more on board with this series now. So most of this issue actually follows Everett Ross throughout his career, starting at the U.S. State Department and then on into other government agencies. And Everett Ross played a big role in Christopher Priest's original run of Black Panther that started back in 1998. So we follow him a lot through this. We do see a continuation of the very final scene from the last issue with T'Challa and his son Katama battling for the throne of Wakanda. So we get more of that as well. But I don't really know what I can say without spoiling too much because there are some revelations in this. We do get some answers to the questions we had after reading the first one, but we don't get all the answers. But we do learn more about Katama. We learn a little bit more about his backstory and maybe why he seems angry, that kind of thing. So we learn more there. I don't know. Like I can't say too much. There's one big thing I don't want to spoil, but I will say that I was very iffy on the first issue, and I was pretty iffy on this reading through it. But by the time you get to the end, I was actually sold. What I do recommend is in the back of this book, there's some like text and stuff. It's almost like an article, but on the side of like the last 3 pages, there is a chronological timeline of events, and it actually explains very well a lot of what you read in this because this issue does still jump back and forth. 8 years before the world to come, 24 years before the world to come. It jumps back and forth, but there is a chronological timeline in the back that if you read that, it actually makes everything make a lot more sense. And it even references a few things that happened from Christopher Priest's original run of Black Panther, which was actually kind of important to this story. But it also mentions one thing that never happened in the comics, which makes me think that this is its own continuity. Like I don't think there was ever a question about that, but it does mention a wedding that never happened. So it's like, oh well, that's not what happened at all in the actual comics. So this must be. I don't want to say it's a different universe, but it's just its own story.
It's the Marvel Knights.
Yeah, it's its own continuity. It's its own story. So this isn't really going to cause havoc with what's going on in the 616 universe right now. But after reading this, getting a few more answers, reading that chronological timeline, which I highly recommend, maybe Googling a couple things. I feel like everything is clicked into place for me now, and I actually am pretty intrigued by it, especially with the last page and what is this event that this book kind of revolves around, like 8 years before the world to come. Like, what does that mean? Like, what happens that changes the world? We don't know yet, but we do have a little bit more of an idea as to what that may be. So read this. If you're iffy on the first one, give this one a shot. I'm a little bit more on board now with it. I think it's a lot. I think it's pretty
Do
cool.
you think it would mean a lot more and make a lot more sense if you'd read the Christopher Priest run of Black Panther? Like this is like a sequel series to that.
I don't know if it's straight up a sequel, but maybe the earlier bits of it would have helped a little bit. Because there is some stuff referenced that Everett Ross did in that series. That maybe like in the first couple issues that would have made a little bit more sense if I had remembered all that stuff. But the timeline helps out a
Yeah.
lot in the back, so definitely read that. So this is our A cover right here, and we've got this Taran Clark variant, and then this really cool David Marquez variant.
But next up, I have a very fun one. This is Absolute Flash #5. This picks up where the last issue left off, where Wally was chasing little Grodd out and chased him all the way to the sewers, where they ran into a big magma monster that turns out to be the absolute version of Heatwave.
Liquid hot magma.
Magma. So this is really cool because I mean Wally he's so green at this. He's like, "Yep, I'm dead. Like this is the way I go." But he's got little monkey Grodd hanging on him that's talking to him in his mind and kind of is like, maybe this guy just needs help. And Wally's like, no, this guy's a big monster. He doesn't need help. But maybe Grodd's onto something. I don't want to give too much away, but for one, it looks like maybe Heatwave doesn't affect Wally. Like he gets up and like
Yeah.
touches him, and he doesn't get burned or anything. And I'm not quite sure. Maybe we'll learn. There's maybe something that hints towards why that doesn't happen. But you do see Wally suit up in this, which is really cool.
Mhm.
He does finally put on the Flash suit, and some during his not it's not an overall fight with Heatwave, but his interaction with him, something happens, and there's a 2-page spread, and then something very trippy and weird happens that I feel like is I want to know more about that.
Mhm.
Because it's very, a left turn, swing, something weird's going on here that maybe has to do with whatever the speed force is in here or how it affects people or something. Very Jeff Lemire, I will say
Yeah.
that. It does feel very on brand for Jeff Lemire, but in a Flash book, it's really, really cool. And something big happens at the end. And I don't want to allude to anything with that, but it definitely raises more questions to what this facility that Wally's dad works at. What are they doing? We know they were doing experiments and everything, but maybe what was the source of all of that? Why did they even start this? You may get some hints in here as that. So yeah, another great issue of Absolute Flash. You get more Ralph Dibny in this, which I love. Even if he never gets stretchy powers, I'm just glad he's there
Yeah.
because he hasn't been around in the main universe for so
Yeah.
long. And I love Elongated Man and his wife. So, really fun issue of Absolute Flash. Here's your A cover. We've got this Malavia cover. We've got a Haining cover. And then we have the Virgin version of those that are the incentives. We've got a 1 in 25 for $12.99. And we have a 1 in 50 for $34.99.
All right, next up we've got Death of the Silver Surfer #2. A lot of big Marvel books all coming out at the same
Yeah.
time. So there's two different storylines going on in this book. The first being Director Hammond, who was the guy who owned Eagle Star. He bought the Bureau. I can't remember the name of it. It's the BNS, the government agency. He bought them last issue. So he takes a group of scientists to the the carcass of Galactus that's floating out in space to harness the power cosmic that still resides within Galactus's dead body. Despite repeated warnings of certain death, like he is being warned to not do this, and he's going to do it anyway.
He's a real butt.
Yeah, he's not nice. So while him and his crew are off in space doing that, back on Earth, a squad from the BNS, led by Agent Ko, who we met last issue, they locate Scar, son of the Hulk. So we haven't seen him in a little bit, and they try to subdue him. There's a big fight between Scar and these agents, and that draws the attention of the Silver Surfer. But then something happens that I don't want to tell you what it is, but it's big enough that Scar says, "Hey, thanks for helping me out, but you go deal with this other thing. I'll stay here and deal with these guys. You need to go deal with that because that's a pretty big deal." So there's more that happens in this book, but I don't want to tell you. The ending is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think this is still a really cool series. I do wonder where this is going. I think it's a 5-issue miniseries, but so far so good. I like the artwork, and there's some cool action. I like the way Silver Surfer is portrayed in this.
He's really nice.
Yeah.
Like he's very caring.
Yeah.
He has a moment where he like helps some kids and stuff that's really cool, and you don't really see. They even question like, you do big cosmic stuff, and he's like, yeah, but right now I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm right here right now. Yeah, so
I thought that was great.
I love the first issue. I thought this one was really, really cool too. And with the way this ends, I definitely want to keep reading because I think there's some big stuff coming.
Yeah.
So we have this really cool A cover, which that kind of sort of almost happens.
Yeah.
We have this really awesome Kale New variant. The Fantastic Four are not in this, but I think they might be in the next one.
Feels like they should be at some point.
Yeah. This is the Aaron Cooter variant. And then this is the 1 in 25 Simone DeMeo cover that we're selling for $29.99.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Next up, I have our next installment of Giant Size Blank. This is Giant Size House of X. House of M. I put House of X on here. There's too many houses of and powers of. This is Giant Size House of M, #1. And this is really a continuation of all of the Giant Size books that have been going on as Kamala is going through all these space and time of the X-Men, trying to figure out what's going on, getting pulled along the way by Legion. And it did say in the opening of this, that Legion is trying to rewrite history. And I was like, oh, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
I never got that from this.
I didn't either. This whole time, I'm like, what is the point of this series? Like, what is Legion trying to do? And why is Kamala bouncing around with him? So yeah, that little blurb at the beginning, I was like, okay, so that's Legion. That's what he's doing. I still don't know why Kamala
is attached to it.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen anything that's Legion trying to change time. There's a moment here where there's a picture of, like, basically from the first issue where Kamala is part of the X-Men. And she's like, well, look, it's all, like, time is being changed. Francesco Manna is on art on this, which it looks really, really good. And now they are.
I did like the artwork.
Now they're in the House of M world, which is the version of the universe where mutants are the superior species and humans are kind of the feared and hated ones. As we see Kamala at a school, she helps protect a human kid from some mutant kids that are bullying her. But she does learn pretty fast that in the school, Kitty Pryde is a 6th grade teacher, and so she's like, she'll know what to do. She goes to her. Of course, Kitty Pryde doesn't recognize Kamala because this is very much like the House of M, the original one, where they don't have any memories of the time before. It's always been this way. But some characters do show up that do remember how things should be, and that is who Kamala is going to team up with to try to figure this whole thing out. And they do know it all kind of stems from Scarlet Witch. And what is fun is Kamala kind of remembers all this stuff happening. Like, there's even a part where it's like she's trying to recall certain characters that played parts in these original stories. And she's like, I don't know. This character lived up in Alaska and he did something. Like, it's like Kamala is us trying to remember things that happened in an old series. But what is cool in this, you do get the X-Men, you get Spider-Man, you get some of the Avengers in this one. That I thought was really, really fun. And the next issue is going to be the end of this, which is Giant Size X-Men #2.
I could have sworn they announced a Krakoa one at some point, but maybe that one turned into this #2 that's coming out.
I'm not sure. But yeah, it does. It is complete. I was kind of shocked because I did think I remembered more time periods and stuff because House of M was a while ago. There's plenty of stories that happen. I didn't know, was she gonna go to a Avengers versus X-Men world or something like that?
Utopia or something like that.
Yeah, but no, this is the penultimate issue, and of course she's got to finally find a way to stop Legion. There is a backup story in this that involves Wolverine getting some memories back after House of M, and it doesn't really pertain too much to this story. It actually says it's going to be continued in Wolverine issue #13.
Yeah.
So it's more of a backdoor entrance to the Wolverine series instead of meaning a whole lot for this, even though it is slightly related to House of M and some memories regained by Wolverine.
This really just made me want to crack open my House of M omnibus and just read that whole story
House
again.
of M is great.
Yeah.
Even some of the tie-ins were really good. And yeah, that's what I did love about this is the characters of this time frame that were involved in all this. It's really cool to see them. So we've got our A cover right here. We've got a nice homage cover by Phil Noto. We've got, they call this the spoiler variant. There's nothing spoiler about this. This is the Coca-Cola cover. We've got the Talavera cover.
I like that a lot.
That's really nice. Yeah. And we have a 1 in 25 Capuccio cover. We're selling for $29.99.
Next up, I've got Godzilla. Godzilla destroys the Marvel Universe, not Godzilla versus.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. I think in my mind I was calling it Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe.
So all the Godzilla versus one-shots are done, and now we have this mini-series, Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe. It is important to note that this is not in continuity with any other Marvel book. This is its own separate thing. But in this, Mole Man finds some special vibranium that's been infused with stable molecules, and he uses that to create this weapon of sorts. And he uses that weapon to awaken a giant celestial that has been asleep at the center of the earth, where we've heard that one before. But when that celestial wakes up, that also wakes up Godzilla. And we actually get a big battle between Godzilla and this giant celestial in the middle of downtown New York.
The visuals are really cool in this.
Yeah. Godzilla defeats that celestial pretty easily. That's not a spoiler because that's not really what the point of the story is. Like, that happens near the beginning. But now the heroes recognize, hey, there's a giant monster battle, and now we got to go take care of it. We got to go take care of Godzilla. And they try every way they know how to try to stop Godzilla from just rampaging through New York, but nothing seems to work. And there's some other things that happen near the end. There is a really cool scene where Captain America gets face to face with Godzilla and like stares him down. He's Captain America's on the top of a building, and Godzilla, his eyes are right here above the building, and Captain America's right here. And that's a really cool scene. It doesn't quite go how you might think though, but so this was fun. So if you're a Godzilla fan, if you liked all those other Godzilla versus books, then you might like this as well, because this is Godzilla versus everybody all at the same time.
It is not Godzilla kills the Marvel Universe like a lot of like the Punisher and stuff. It's not like brutal and that kind of stuff. But it is pretty destructive.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our A cover right here, and this is the one that I think we have the most variants of. This is the Garon variant with Captain America just going, I don't know what he's going to do, but...
That is the your interior artist, too.
Yeah, that's right. This is the Sue variant. We have the John Tyler Christopher action figure variant. I don't know if you can tell, but that's supposed to look like an action figure there.
Yes, we've got that right there, that box.
Oh, nice.
That's what those came in.
This is the Watcher variant. I guess that's like a theme version of Godzilla.
I want to see that.
We have this variant from Galloway with Godzilla and Godzuki.
I love Godzuki.
There's the Lionel Francis Yu spot foil variant. That one looks really cool. Even Spider-Man's eyes are in foil, which is really cool. And then we have this. I don't have the art. I think I don't have the artist or the ratio on this, but we're selling this one for $12.99. Oh yeah, it's Pete Woods. I wrote it down.
You did.
I did write it down. Nice, Pete Woods. There you go.
You're smarter
I
than you
know.
think.
Good job, past me.
Okay, next up, very timely issue, Superman Unlimited #3. This is an awesome issue called Good Boy, and this does kind of center around, at least somewhat, on Krypto. And what I love in this is they bring up, it was hard for Clark growing up to know his limitations when he was a kid. He would overdo things with his powers. Imagine how hard it is for Krypto when he chases cars and he catches them,
Right.
or he chases squirrels and heat visions them.
Yep.
Like, you can't leave him anywhere. He can get out of wherever. So part of this is kind of about Krypto and how he copes with being a super person also. And he does kind of come to the aid in this issue, which is really cool. The other part of the story in this is there is a Metropolis Science Expo where Clark is going to be he's going to be doing the reporting, even though Caldero is going to be there, which is the new island that is made of kryptonite.
Mhm.
And he's like, I don't really need to be there, but Lois is like, if repeatedly you don't show up to things where there's kryptonite, people are going to start wondering what's going on. So he's like, okay, I'll play it safe and I'll go. And so everyone's going to be having these big science things to show off. And he does confront someone from El Caldero about something interesting he found. That it seems like part of their project they're going to be showing off is one of the names or one of the companies is related to Toyman. Of course, is a classic Superman villain. And she's like, no, it's not what you think or whatever. I don't want to get into it because it is a really fun turn of events that happens in here. But we do maybe get a new version of Toyman in here that is pretty surprising. You do get Superman versus a very Fleischer era looking
Yeah.
robot,
Yeah.
and Superman and Krypto working together in another really fun way. This is kind of a one and done issue.
Yeah, and you can almost read this without having to read the last two issues, although I do recommend reading those because they're good. But if you saw Superman this weekend
Yeah.
and you're loving Krypto, this is the book for you right here. We get
Yeah.
some great Superman and Krypto action right here.
Yeah, this felt very, not even Silver Age, Golden Age
Mhm.
in a lot of the story. All you do need to know is there's a lot of kryptonite out there now that people are messing around with. We do get a little bit more in Gorilla City as we meet
Mhm.
our new ace reporter from Gorilla City. That's really fun where they are going to Metropolis, but first they have to stop in Gotham, and all the other gorillas are really worried because Gotham's so dangerous. Just a great issue.
Yeah.
This is such a good series. This is another one I hope goes on forever.
Yep.
Because not that it's not all like anthology, like one and done stories, but it feels like picking up a golden or silver age issue of Superman, not needing to know the context and having a fun story.
Yeah, Dan Slott, I mean, that's he told us that's by design. Like this series is designed to be your first Superman comic. If you've never read one, you can jump into this one without having to really know anything. It's a great starting point for those looking to jump into Superman or for those who know Superman really well. Either way, this book works for both types of people.
And I do think this is the most a current Superman book is like the movie. I feel
Right.
like this could be the movie version of Superman
Yeah.
doing this story. Even Krypto in this is drawn a little bit more like the scruffy Krypto from the movie. So just phenomenal book. Everyone be reading all the Superman books. Those are great, but this one is so fun.
That's true. Every book that DC is putting out right now that has Superman's name on the cover is awesome. So
Yeah.
read all the Supermans.
So that is your A cover. That's actually the only cover I have right now.
And also Action Comics, even though that doesn't have Superman's name on it, or does it?
Sometimes it says Superman
Yeah.
Action Comics.
Okay, so next up we got New Avengers #2. I love the first issue. Was looking very much forward to reading this one, but I actually don't have a lot to say about it because this whole issue is just one big fight between wait, who do we have? Oh, well, we got Bucky, Black Widow, and Namor on this side versus the Killuminati, who we got introduced to last issue. And I mean, like, they fight the whole issue, and it's really cool. And I will go ahead and tell you that because she's on the cover here, Clea shows up to help them as well. And that's a pretty big game changer because they're not holding their own real well, but Clea shows up and kind of helps balance the scales a bit. Um,
The Killuminati are pretty fun too because
yeah.
they're just twists enough on the originals. Like this version of Doctor Strange is Doctor
I don't remember their name. Ouroboros. Yeah.
is Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, that's Mr. Fantastic. That's right. But the Doctor Strange one
he's
isn't
kind of
even
hippie-ish.
He's not even really all that bad. He just wants to like chill. You know, he just wants to be mellow. But I'm not going to tell you the outcome of the fight, which again lasts the entire issue. But the fight definitely is not over, and it's no longer confined to just the one like laboratory that they were been fighting at. So it's gonna like branch out a little bit more, and I'm thinking that maybe that's where some more members of the team. We don't see them on this cover, but we know we're getting Hulk. We know we're getting Carnage, and we haven't seen them yet, but they'll come soon, I'm sure. So just a really cool action packed issue. Lots of fighting. I like the characters that are in this, and can't wait to read more of them. So we have our A cover right here, and we have this Oliver cover. We have this Caselli cover. That's your whole team, but they're not in there. Not all of them are there yet. Here's your Rod Rice. Here's your Killuminati version of Doctor Strange. He actually doesn't look this evil in the book. He's just chill. He just wants to
floats there.
Yeah, he just kind of hangs out. This is the Art of Marvel Studios variant with Red Guardian. And we have this 1 in 25 Lucio Perillo variant that we're selling for $29.99. Laura Kinney is in this as well, but she's kind of sidelined. She gets hurt.
She gets hurt.
Yeah.
Next up, I got another book that has Superman on the cover, or on the title. This is Krypto, The Last Dog of Krypton #2. Also perfect timing with Krypto being everywhere. It does say Superman alone.
Summer of Superman, yeah.
Summer of Superman, so it counts for our
right.
For our every Superman book is good. This is a kind of a hard issue to read. It even gives a little bit of a warning at the beginning.
There's a trigger warning at the beginning of the issue
because of how Lex Luthor treats Krypto. This is a young Lex Luthor who, for one thing, thinks he is the best dog trainer in the world.
Right.
But also is coming up with a pretty dastardly plan to get ahead in his life. And he just treats Krypto terrible, like abusive. So it's a little hard to read. Krypto is just trying to get love. Like, that's the sweetest thing is, like, he still wants to be pet and everything. But Lex is horrible. This is just an evil version of Lex, even though it does feel like Lex at points does like Krypto and does like him being there. He just doesn't know how to. He never was taught how to love or anything. So
right.
Lex doesn't know how to reciprocate or anything. He just knows how to be bad. But this is a pretty cool story of mostly focusing on Krypto and his first. I don't know how long he's going to be on Earth before he runs back into Superman. So still really fun. This is just a mini series. I'm really looking forward to where it goes next because kind of don't know where he ends up next.
Yeah.
But I imagine we're going to see more familiar faces as we go on.
And this has a pretty heartbreaking ending too, but not for the reason you might suspect, like in a different way. So I thought that was a pretty interesting little story twist as well.
Yeah, so a really good issue, but the first issue was really fun. This one's really difficult, but still a really good read. So that is your A cover by Jay Lee, who we just saw a little bit earlier. And we also have this De La Torre variant.
All right, so next we've got Wonder Woman number 23. Now, real quick about this, there was a box that we did not receive until today, right? And that box contained Wonder Woman and a few other titles, so I only just got to read this one right before we started recording this, so I actually don't have any notes written down about it, but I did want to mention it because this is the start of a brand new story arc, and from what I understand, like the next big major story arc for Wonder Woman starts right here. It's called the Island of Mice and Men. And in this one, there is this island that I don't know if we know when it happened or not, but that Mouse Man has taken over and people live there. Like people choose to live there, but the way they speak, let's just say it's very unconventional. And I mean, they're like a lot of them are Americans and they know English, but they speak in a different way. And you'll see what I mean when you read it. But Wonder Woman, the very beginning of the series, the Amazon Emily, who was the cause of the tension between the U.S. government and the Amazons. Like we never really saw where she went. And a couple issues ago, Wonder Woman finally found out that Emily, this Amazon she's been looking for since the series started, is on this island of mice and men. And she wants to go down there, and the Justice League, Batman, Superman, Mr. Terrific tell her, listen, we all agreed as the Justice League to not interfere, not to go down to that island and interfere with anything. And Batman tells her there's going to be consequences if you go down there. And that scene is, I won't tell you what, but that scene is really cool. But the point is, she's looking for this Amazon that is on this island, and where is that going to lead her? I don't know. But this is a really cool issue. It's actually a pretty quick read, and again, you'll see it. You'll see what I mean when you read it. But I really like it. This is, and she's got baby Trinity with her too. Throughout this, she wears this backpack. So I'm intrigued. Like, I want to know where this is going and where what this is all going to amount to. So don't have a lot more to say than that because, like I said, I just read it right before this, but I was into it. So we have our A cover right here, and we have this 1 in 25 Yasmin Putri variant that we're selling for $19.99.
Next up, I've got part 2 of Robin and Batman Jason Todd, kind of showing the first little bit of their relationship together, being Batman and Robin, and how it doesn't work out as well as it did for Batman and Dick Grayson as Robin. We saw in the last one where Batman thought for a brief moment that Jason had killed this enemy they were going after, only to learn that it was this new character called Wraith that did it. And Jason is really upset that, he said, like, you thought that I did that, like, that I am capable of doing that. But Batman's not sure. Like, he has another moment with Alfred where it's like, I don't know if this was right. I don't know if Jason is up to being Robin because he's so, and Alfred's like broken, and it's really kind of gut wrenching. We also do learn that the moment before Batman rounded the corner and saw Jason standing next to this body, and then learned it was Rafe, that Jason and Rafe actually spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have to read to find out what happened, but I'm really interested in seeing what happens next. The other big cool part of this is there's a lot of Nightwing, disco suit Nightwing,
Yeah.
as he takes Jason out on patrol to kind of understand him better as kind of a Robin to Robin type thing to see how he does. There's some great splash pages where they fight some classic villains and everything, but when Nightwing reports back to Batman, I think that's really interesting as well, and I love that dynamic. So if you enjoyed the first issue, definitely check out the second issue. And I think it's only 3 issues long, so
Yeah.
there's
I think
only
the last
one
one was
more.
too, yeah.
Yeah. Just the one cover, too.
Oh, okay. All right, so next up, speaking of books that are awesome that have Superman's name in the title, Batman Superman World's Finest number 41. And this is also, just like Wonder Woman, this is the start of a new story arc as well called Bizarro World Tour. And in this one, Superman, Batman, and Robin find themselves stuck on Bizarro World. And they have to contend. I don't think we really know why. I'm not sure if it's explained or not, but they have to contend with a bunch of different Bizarros, and they're all like, they all look like Bizarro, like kind of like clones of Superman. But some of the Bizarros have caught a plague, which caused them to stop thinking backwards. So we actually see some Bizarros speaking normally in this. So there's some action, some fighting in this before Batman and Superman and Robin decide to tackle this problem at the source and go search for the original Bizarro, because they kind of feel like he's at the center of this whole thing, and they find him in a very interesting place. And I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, just good fun. You can just pick this up and read it. Superman, Batman, Robin, Bizarro. Great artwork, good action. That's all you really need. So there's our A cover right there, and we have this. Kevin Maguire. There's your movie variant right there with Superman and Krypto. Is this Gutierrez? Yeah, this is Adrian Gutierrez. So that's your interior artist who is doing a phenomenal job. This is Michael Cho variant. And then we have a uh, uh, 1 in 25 Dolly variant that we're selling for $19.99. Put it in, you can store it either way. Oh, you really? No, yeah. It would be upside down. Then.
It would be upside down. Next up, just really briefly wanted to mention there is a new Red Sonja one-shot called Red Sonja Noir. It is not black and white with Sonja in a trench coat in a rainy city, all that. It's a very, what you think of as Red Sonja. This is by David Avalone and Edu Mena. And in this, Sonja has a business with another guy called Blade and Archer. And they're basically just like assassins for hire or just, weapons for hire. And a woman comes seeking help because her sister's been taken and is going to be sold to pirates and needs one of them to help her. Only one of the Red Sonja doesn't go. The other guy she's in business with goes. But things don't go as planned, and that pulls Red Sonja into this mystery, and there's crossing and double crossing and all of that. And it's just a one shot. So if you think that sounds good, if you're a Red Sonja fan, don't miss out on Red Sonja Noir. And there's some preview for the new Red Sonja series by Christopher Priest that looks very interesting. So we got our A cover there. We have our cosplay cover. And we have our Linsner cover.
I've got Spider-Girl number 2. And in this one, Lady Bullseye, right there on the cover, attacks Spider-Girl just to see what she's capable of. And most of the issue is just the two of them fighting, which is pretty cool. But we actually do meet Spider-Girl's mother, her aunt, and her grandmother, who I don't think we've ever met before. So kind of like fleshing out her character a little bit. But really all this issue is just the two of them going at it and, very action-packed and some cool artwork and everything. So, if you like the first issue, you're definitely going to like this one. So we have our A cover right here. And we have this Javier Garon variant. I like that you can see her sort of frown through her mask. I don't think you can tell there, but we have this this Son variant with Lady Bullseye. And this is the 1 in 25 Chad Harden variant that we're selling for $29.99.
Next up, I have Star Wars issue number 3. Finally, we get back to what's going on with Han. And in this, Lando. So, someone crash lands on Bespin, Cloud City, and is an old friend of Han and Lando and says, I need to talk to you and Han right now. But they are slowly dying from the crash or whatever happened before. And Han is not there, and he has to make it to Cloud City in time before maybe this guy dies because he has critical information for the New Republic. But who knows what happens? Maybe someone else is there and doesn't want that information getting out. So this is a really cool issue of Star Wars, catching up with what's going on with Han. There's a little bit with Luke in here, but mostly checking back in with that story that was set up in issue number 1 with Han that is really, really interesting. So there is your A cover for that. We've got your John Tyler Christopher action figure variant, very appropriate for this issue. We have our Pagulayan variant. We've got your Sprouse anniversary variant. This is 10 of 10, so this is the final one for the Force Awakens variants. And lastly, we have a 1 in 25 Lionel Francis Yu variant. We're selling for $9.99.
I've got the final issue of Predator vs. Spider-Man right here. This is number 4, the last one. And it's cool because Kraven fights Skinner, which is like the weird Predator, while Spider-Man continues to fight the other 3 Predators who are there looking for Skinner as well. And I really can't say anything more without spoiling the ending, but I will say that it was a satisfying ending and a very interesting ending for Kraven. So yeah, if you got all the other 3 issues, don't miss the end because it's here and it's really cool. So there's our A cover, and we have this Sakura variant.
No, it's cool. Nice homage cover.
Yeah, nice homage.
Next up, I've got New Gods issue number 8. I don't have a whole lot of notes on this one because it is pretty deep into the series, but it is a really cool issue as they throw a party now that the New Gods are on Earth. They invite, the Justice League are there and everything, but Highfather makes a startling declaration that I definitely want to know what happens afterwards because it's going to shake things up a little bit. Plus, there may be a big step towards the dark side story that's going through all of the DC stuff right now about maybe where he is, maybe what form he is. We don't quite know.
That part was extremely interesting and may have some impact on the big crossover to come this fall.
Yeah, so don't miss out on this if you've been reading it because it is a great issue with issue number 8. Got our A cover here. I've got this Tom Fowler variant. And I've got this Javier Rodriguez variant. That's your Absolute Martian Manhunter artist.
I've got Ultimate Black Panther number 18, and in this one, the Voodoo Khan approaches the spirit, the consciousness of vibranium that has possessed the characters Audie and Helen. Because now there's this guy, and then there's the other female character who are possessed by the spirit, and she tells them about a very interesting prophecy that I'm not going to tell you what that is, but while they're doing that, Black Panther actually infiltrates the office of the defense minister of Nigeria to learn where he's looking for a gateway, but I don't remember a gateway to what, so that part was a little confusing. But at the end of this, Black Panther and Storm has a very interesting conversation that may relate to this prophecy that the Voodoo Khan was talking about. So if you like Ultimate Black Panther, don't miss the next issue. This is the only cover I have. However, I forgot to show you this 1 in 25 Bjorn variant for Predator vs. Spider-Man number 4. That's the 1 in 25 we're selling for $24.99.
Next up, this is another book that came in our late shipment, so I only got a brief chance to read it, but it was really fun. This is Dread the Hall H. This is by Jordan Hart, Chris Ryle, Chris Anderson, Nelson Daniel, Peter Kowalski, and Jimmy Kukaj. And this is really fun, perfect in time for like San Diego Comic-Con and stuff because it's humorous horror stories based around comic conventions. There is a through story that is the best part of this, where there's a panel for a movie and a guy gets up. They only have 5 minutes left for one final question, and that guy's question slash my question's not really a question; it's more of a statement. Is the through line story in here, and it is so cringe, but also you know this happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's other stories in here about like people use D20s to fight like this big monster thing, or zombies invading a Comic-Con, all of that. But if you've been to a con, you've been to panels, that kind of stuff, this is really going to hit close to home. So don't miss out on Dread the Hull H. This is the only cover I have. I think there is another cover, but this is the only one I have right now.
And just real quick, just wanted to tell you that the last issue of Zatanna is out. This is another one that came in the late shipment today, so we did not get a chance to read this one. But we love this series. This is the last issue of that series, so we definitely wanted to let you know that it's out. So if you've been getting all the rest of them, don't miss this one. We did flip through it, though, and obviously it's gorgeous. But yeah, so don't miss the ending to that.
Next up, I've got G.I. Joe number 9. Just want to briefly mention this one because this storyline is so cool with Baroness and CoverGirl. In the last issue, they're attacked by Raptor, who is pursuing this in here, pursuing them through Paris, but also Major Blood wants some revenge, and he wants Baroness's eye as revenge for what she did to him.
He wants some major blood.
He wants some major blood. Yeah. And the last page of this is pretty shocking.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your A cover here, and you have your Milana variant here, who is your interior artist. Do you have any more?
I'm out.
And I did want to briefly mention, I read this and it was awesome. This is a freebie this week, so if your comic book store has it, get it. This is Aquaman. This is called Air Jaws Allies, and it is a promotion for Shark Week, but it's actually really pretty. And I really good story that feels like it would be in like an anthology of stories, and it's not like super like Aquaman's watching Shark Week. No, it's about like him and talking. He loses his ability to speak to sharks, and Ocean Master's there, and there's this like gauntlet relic that can control the tides of the world that he's trying to get. Actually, a pretty good Aquaman story, and it's just a freebie. So pick this up if your comic book store has it. It's not just like a junk throwaway comic. It's actually really
Yeah.
fun. Whew, and that is it for a very big week of our early comic review videos. So, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. Let us know in the comments which of these books you're most excited for. Make sure to watch all of our other videos that we have on the channel, and make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of them. We'll have our video coming up on Wednesday where we're talking about the books you can pre-order by this weekend, and then of course our video on Friday where we talk about those books plus much, much more. Don't miss out on that. The special bundle we have
That's right.
up on the website. That's going to be really cool and very short supply, so don't miss out on it. And I think that is all.
Mhm.
Everyone, still go see Superman. If
It's
you've already
so
seen it,
good.
see it second time
Yep.
because I'm going to go see it a 2nd
Mhm.
time. And until next time,
See
see
ya.
ya.